One, go.
This is the pouch for the Genteel. We're going to start out by showing how big the inside is. Across the inside of here it is 5 1/2 inches from the inside to the inside over here. And that's important that it be 5 1/2 inches on the inside so that the entire length will be completely inside of the pouch when it gets closed. Then across this way, this will be a little more difficult to see, but from the edge of the zipper to the outward edge of the inside, it's 4 1/4 inches. And as far as the inside of the bag goes, when we close this thing up, whatever you can get with a standard width zipper is acceptable. This on the outside of this looks like to be 1 inch, but this is actually a zipper which started out to be 1 1/4 inches wide, and that's pretty much everybody in the dog makes zippers like that.
And it's a double, we're using a double zipper.
Yes, this unit contains a double zipper so that if one should fail, the person will be able to continue to use it. On the right side, and I'll use right for a reason, because if you look at the orientation of this thing, up is going to be on the side where you have the Velcro section right here. A typical meter is going to be sitting here, and a person will be able to plug his sample test into that location right here. And he doesn't necessarily have to take it out of the pouch, but it's important that this be up.
Show the back of the meter that where the Velcro is.
Yes, on the back of the meter.
That's the eye part, and the part on down on the down on the pouch is the hook.
Yes. So this patch right here is sewn all the way around, just the perimeter to hold it in place. Then see, this loop right here is what holds onto the samples.
And those those are standard size, and I don't know what the dimension is. What is it, 7/8 across the diameter?
The diameter of that thing is 1 inch.
1 inch, okay. So the loop has to be elastic to hold the 1 inch.
Yes. So when the customer puts that in there and then they do their actual test, they'll be able to do this without necessarily pulling this out of the bag. They'll just be opening it up. And in some cases they may actually do their test by holding on to it just like that. So then we'll move on to this section right here. This piece is the identification system, or the identification pouch, if you will. It will have a Velcro opening on the top of it like this, so that you could easily put something similar to this in there for identification. The dimensions of this thing on the outside of it are 4 1/4 by 3, and that's just the identification area. And we're really a little bit flexible as to where this goes, but the reason that this thing needs to be with the plastic side on this side has to do with protecting the face of the meters that are going to go into the unit. So when this thing closes, you'll see how that plastic will protect the face of the meters. So this identification flap is in there for two reasons: to provide the identification, and also that protective flat plastic surface will not scratch the surface of the meters. Next, I took advantage of the fact that I had to have this thing flapping around and took this material all the way across. This covers up the ends of the zipper, but also provides a small area over here for that portion of the clip. Now the clip itself, of course, looks like a belt clip. It's open up here at the top, and you'll be able to insert that in like that. So how that gets done, we're really flexible on the width of that thing, but pretty much 1 inch wide section for this area up here is what you need to get the clip into place. And also note that the clip is being held near the top, so that this thing here, you can see how it's offset by a small amount. There's a 3/4 of an inch here and 1/4 of an inch up at the top. That's to make sure that this clip is held near the top, because when this thing gets put into place, that fits very nicely within the zipper that way. The next thing to look at is, if we look over here, this side has got two containment areas. One with a zipper on it, which allows you to get into an area which you can visualize what's inside there. For instance, if we have a selection of tips and something like this, that the user may have his random selection of tips inside of here. They'll be able to literally see what they are, and without having to open things up too far, to tell what they have for their own personal supplies. So that's why this is clear, so it's easily seen. Then the other area back here, this opening is a rather large pouch area, and will be a place that we can put things such like the alcohol wipes and stuff. There's a lot of space in there, and you can close it off very securely. So that storage area and the visual pouch on the outside with the zipper adds a lot of convenience for getting to your supplies.
And you got some dimensions on those pouches?
Yes. Now this distance from, this is upside down now, but the distance from the inside to the air is, of course, the same 4 1/4 inches from the edge of the zipper to the outboard edge of where this zipper is. And this is pretty much 3 1/2 is how tall this area is.
Which area is this area? You mean the pouch area?
The pouch area is basically 3 1/2 inches long.
Okay.
And of course you're using part of the 3 1/2 inches. A 1/2 inch of it goes to sewing the zipper in place, and also providing the Velcro underneath a portion of the zipper to create the hidden pouch, if you will. Now there's two things that we would like to see for this area right here, because it's not immediately visible, is a small tab might be in order that sticks out there so a person can easily open it. Then the next thing to look at is on the outside. Now keep in mind, I'm going to put this back in here with that being up. I'm going to put this into here as well to show that that's up. when you have this thing closed, it's desirable to have a belt clip. Now notice that when I open this thing up like this, with this being up, the belt clip is on the side that would be against the body. So the part would swing away should a person want to keep this thing in place on their belt or backpack or something like that. The area with the meter will open up away from that. And this belt clip, of course, is set up to have the Velcro that holds it in place on the lower side. So a person, if they were to put this onto their belt, they would feed it through their belt behind there and then rub it into place to keep it in there.
Yeah, or snake the belt through it.
Or snake the belt through it, yes. And then notice that now this one here happens to be made 2 inches wide. Really flexible on that, but the part that's really important is that you have to assume 2 1/4 on the inside for any type of belt that comes along. A 2 1/4 pretty much guarantees you're going to be able to hit most straps and things like that, because most straps on backpacks and things like that are on the order of a 2-inch wide area. So 2 1/4 right there is what's important. Then notice this thing right here. Now there is these things that are insulin pens available. I don't have one here. But when this thing is closed down, some people actually take their insulin pens and stick them in here as a way of carrying them. This is nothing more than a really wide piece of elastic that's been sewn on here to go around the corner, to go around the backbone of this thing. That actually helps with some stiffness of the bag or the pouch as well. But you can see how it's easy to take one of your insulin pens and stick it in there. Now the reason this is on the outside is because the insulin pens are always longer than this. We've not seen any insulin pens that were really short that you could put on the inside. In fact, some of these things are just absolutely gigantic. So when this thing is, again, turned completely over, you have the belt clip and the insulin pen and then just a blank area. Now this area here will actually have the Genteel on it, so that will be the outward side of the pouch.
And that Genteel will be in the Genteel blue, our color, which I believe is PMS. I think it's 3135.
Yes.
Okay, that's how you build a Genteel pouch.